Right now, artwork created by AI generated sources or artificial intelligence is a major topic in the community. But can you legally use artwork created by an AI generator to promote your business? Let's chat with a lawyer.
My name is Tony Iliakostas. I'm an adjunct professor of entertainment law and IP at New York Law School, and I have an Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube account called The IP Professor that's dedicated to all things intellectual property.
And Tony, one of the big things that has come up in discussion in the business world lately is the concept of AI generated art. So, artificially, intelligently designed artwork is being used to promote some businesses. Should we be using AI generated art to promote our businesses? And what does that look like for us from a legal perspective?
It's tricky territory when you're talking about AI artwork, mainly because when some type of software creates artwork that you put in keywords and you ask it to generate something, the question becomes after that work is generated, who technically owns the copyright to that work? Under the basic tenets of copyright law, copyright is an original work of authorship that is fixed in a tangible medium of expression, and at least the way the Copyright Act has been interpreted through case law, through even just a plain reading of the actual statutory language, it's understood that living persons like you or me are technically the authors of any copyrighted work that we do. So if you did a sculpture KM, or if I drew a painting, or if you wrote a book, the fact your act of fixating an original work of authorship in a tangible medium of expression makes you the copyright owner. So now, inversely, we should ask the same question. AI artwork, which for all intents and purposes is software generated, material that is taking keywords, probably using sources from the internet to then make new artwork out of it. The question becomes, is that software, that algorithm, that technology that makes the new AI artwork, is that capable of becoming a copyright owner? And case law has made it very clear that non-living persons are not in any way the copyright owners of that material. So if you're a business owner that wants to make AI artwork and you go to a website like, you're using an app like PhotoLeap, or you use any other AI artwork website, just read the terms of use and service just to verify and clarify, there's a rhyme right there, where the ownership line is drawn there. If you make a work of authorship through that software, do you become the new copyright owner? Does the website that hosts that AI artwork or that software, are they the copyright owner? So just clarifying and reading every little detail about that is going to be paramount. Of course, there are other issues with AI artwork. I kind of hinted at it that, AI artwork will use the internet as a basis to generate new images. So then the question comes up, are you going to violate any copyright? There is a transformative quality that does exist with AI artwork that I think could present a pretty solid fair use argument, but I think it varies on a case-by-case basis. But I think the main issue for AI artwork is going to boil down to just the ownership angle, and I think that that's something that everybody should be paying attention to.
So we want to make sure if we are going to be using these programs that we are using the terms of service as our reference point to decide if it's going to be a good choice for us or not. Terms of service, of course, can be found on any given website. You want to make sure you read through all of those. But if you struggle with maybe the legal side of things, or you're not quite sure of all the jargon inside of these terms of service, is it a wise choice for us to be consulting with a lawyer to make sure we can, or we should maybe stay away from some of this AI generated artwork?
Absolutely. I mean, there are attorneys that even make a living writing those terms of service. So they know the language more than anything else. The other thing to bear in mind is terms of service, or the terms and conditions, whatever a website calls it. For all intents and purposes, you can say that they're almost operating like a unilateral agreement. So, for example, how many times have we downloaded software when we were a kid? Like, we played Age of Empires or The Sims or what have you. When we download it and we have those privacy terms that are like 50 pages long, and we just hit okay, we hit the advanced button, right? We don't waste our time with it. But that language, if we were adults, if we had the time to read through it, yes, actually, those would lay out the terms of us. What if we download that software on our computer? What are we consenting to? What are we agreeing to? And essentially, those terms are operating as a unilateral agreement. By pressing OK, you are consenting to certain terms. This even applies if you made a social media account. If you were to start a new Twitter account or an Instagram account, you have to agree to terms and conditions in order to join that platform, and you have to hit OK. You are essentially unilaterally agreeing to to use that platform in a certain way that's going to comply with Instagram's guidelines or Facebook's guidelines, Twitter's guidelines. And if anything, if you do any activity or anything that could be harmful or could violate somebody else's IP or what have you, that could be grounds for termination. And then if that happened, there are of course people that say, well, I didn't see that coming. You did see that coming when you agreed to those terms and conditions, when you unilaterally agreed to it. So bottom line is, when you go onto these AI artwork websites and you just putting in those keywords to generate that artwork, you're automatically consenting to those terms and conditions. So that I think emphasizes all the more how important it is to go to an attorney to just ask them, hey, what am I actually agreeing to in this language? And more importantly, if I am generating artwork on this platform, are they going to be the copyright owner, or am I going to be the copyright owner? Or better yet, if I gave them keywords and I generate this artwork, could they take what I have given them, this information, and could they now commercialize it? Could they make ads out of it? So now there becomes even a bigger wrinkle in this whole mix. So I think this emphasizes all the more how important it is that a lawyer is involved in that process, especially if you can't read through the legalese of a terms of service template.
I absolutely agree with that. And one thing that I've noticed is that these companies will frequently update these terms and conditions. And so as you are using these sites, that could potentially be changing as you're using it. And because you're using it, you've then agreed to those changes, whether or not you've gone back and reread those terms and conditions. And so being mindful of updates is also incredibly important to make sure you are protected. So overall, Tony, do you think it's a wise choice for us to be spending our time, effort, and potentially money using AI art to promote our business? Or do you think there are better resources for us?
I don't want to say that it's a bad idea, but I don't want to say it's a great idea either. So what I would advocate for any business owners out there is to explore alternative options before you jump on the AI bandwagon just yet. And I only say that because there's so much gray area right now. It's become more of a hotbed issue because I think the use of AI in our culture has amplified tenfold, 50-fold. It's kind of funny to say that it all started with, like a software like Alexa or Siri or what have you. So of course, in a situation like this, where AI is advancing to something beyond that, where it's capable of making artwork. Now, I mean, imagine the possibilities. AI could make food. It could be the one cooking in the kitchen instead of an actual chef. So kind of scary, but it's a reality that I think we should all prepare ourselves for. But going back to the main question here, I would say if you're not even a photographer, maybe do a barter for trade type of thing, where if you're offering a service, maybe you can solicit a photographer and say, hey, I really need photos for my small business. Would you mind taking photos of my products? And in exchange, I'll send you some swag. Or I offer this service. Could you take photos of me for my website? And in exchange, I'll help you provide any type of service that you need. So I think that could be one cost-effective way of doing that. Of course, if you have somebody in the family that has the skill set to, make artwork or take photos for your small business, that's also wonderful as well. Exhaust all those options before you go into the AI artwork space. And when you do go into that space, like I said before, scrutinizing and reading every line of the terms of use and service about who will own the copyright to that material is going to be a very essential step to understanding at the end of the day who's going to own that artwork and how can you use it, especially in a marketing capacity where you're using it for the promotion and you're selling your service or you're selling your good.
And of course, artwork is not the only thing that can be created by AI. We also have things like copywriting created by artificial intelligence. And so, in an upcoming episode, Tony is coming back to break down everything you need to know about whether or not this is going to benefit your business or potentially cause you a little bit of trouble inside of what you're doing. Tony, where can everybody connect with you online?
You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at the IP Professor, where again I discuss all things IP. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me in the DMs.
Now you know I love my technology, so hit that subscribe and notification bell because we will be continuing the conversation on AI-generated artwork, copywriting, and more to help you level up in your business and keep you legally protected. If you have questions about any of this, drop them down below. And if you want to talk more about the technical side of things, let me know too because I love having those conversations with you. I'll see you in the next video.